Good morning, friends. Hey, Bob Guinan. Great to see you last night. Nice to see Paige too. I'm so glad she made it. That was great. It was a really nice gathering. Though I'm feeling it this morning. Like, whew, I was tired. Like, it just, but it was, it's. I think we lose a little bit of our socializing muscle here and there or something. Uh, to, so if you don't know, last night we had our Deacons Dinner where we gather together all of the deacons of the church and all former deacons. She had a good time. That's great. That's so glad. It was such a nice, so nice to see her. So yeah, and so just a lovely, just a good time. Um, that the whole idea of deacons in the church. They really are the sinew that hold a community together. They're folks that understand that to simply be servants of the wider community and to hold the wider community together, um, just like the tendons and the ligaments hold our body together. Otherwise we just fall all to pieces. And that the deep work of the deacon is to be that which holds the body together. So and it really felt like we were kind of about our Father's business last night, I think, is a way to put it. So it was a great gift for sure. Good morning, Irene. Glad you're here. Kristen, how are you? Hope you are well. Good morning, Bonnie. Glad you're here. John, good to see you. Wayne, glad you're here. I hope things are good with you and Robin. I hope you're doing well. Bill, good morning to you. I hope things are well in your world and that it's a good day for you. We're a little doing a little hard rock 30th anniversary this morning. You always have to lift up the mug. Hi, Sherry Ladd. Glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Those girls are like, what are they, like 30 now? Like, goodness, those grandkids of yours? Like, my goodness, to see the pictures of them. Good morning, Fannie Faye Davis. Hello. So, yes. Good morning, Donna. Glad you're here. Yeah. So, I hope you are all doing well this morning and good and right. I started the day, and so we are. So Fannie Faye actually sent me a poem this morning. Some deep stuff she was working on, and it gave expression to, and I was like, that's awesome. So I am always willing to, I've considered a gift of this association that we managed to find our way, to share these things. I mean, and if they're deep and you just want to share them with me, send them to me. Like, and if they're not, if you want to share them, wider, we can do links like that too. But yes, I punked you out. uh, but really, I'm grateful for the wider sharing here. Linda, good morning. Excellent. Well, hey, that's cool, Linda, because we're gonna riff a little bit off of yesterday. So if you just heard yesterday's, then you are right on track. So welcome everybody. It is the 24th day of June on this Thursday, and we are 11:11. And I am so glad that each one of you here, you're a part of this, you're hearing my voice, and that you're on this journey, that we continue to deepen and walk and explore with one another. So I want to start out with this. We talked a little bit from Matthew yesterday, and I want to come back to Matthew and his this continued teaching that he's teasing out from what Jesus is offering, and it's another of these kind of somewhat famous lines, but I think they have something to offer us, and maybe even a little bit as a counterpoint to yesterday. And that's so because I feel like there's some things that, so if you didn't hear yesterday, don't worry about it. This will stand alone fine. But if you did, then this will kind of expand on the journey as well. But it's this from the 11th chapter. So we're some chapters ahead, and he says in verse 28, "Come to me, all of you that are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden light." There's a great little Zen koan, little Zen meditation that goes like this. It says, "Why are you always at your prayers?" asks the master. "Because prayer takes a great load off my mind," said the student. "Unfortunately, that is what it is wont to do," said the master. "Wait, what's so unfortunate about it?" He says, "It distracts you from seeing who put the load there in the first place," said the master. You know, we often think our devotions and we think our prayers and we think that these are the right and the true thing, and they are. That's not that bringing these things to Christ is what we're called and want to do. It is what we want to do, and it will lift burdens off us, just as the Scripture says. But sometimes we can get, and I think more often than not, we get stuck in this little way, in this little life, in this little way with all of these burdens that are placed upon us, and the things that just keep weighing us down further and further and further. And what we forget is that that somebody's putting those burdens there in the first place. Somebody is taking up all these worries. Somebody is stealing from the worry bin and putting all the heaviness in our pockets. Some of us are placing the yoke upon us. Now, this yoke thing needs to be talked about for just a second, because it's a lot of you will understand what it means and some of you won't. But I think we got to kind of talk about it, because when Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart." So in the ancient world, or if you spent any time on a farm, there's that, and that the world largely moved by oxen. Most things in the world moved by oxen for many thousands of years. And there's still stuff that moved by oxen all over the world today. And that essentially, if you know, oxen work in pairs. And that pairs are often paired with a senior, kind of a little older, a little more experienced, a little better, well-trained ox, and a little more junior, a little more that is kind of learning from the other ox. And so what connects them is called the yoke, and it's placed on it's placed on their backs, and it has a loop that goes underneath their necks, and it helps them pull and work together. This is the image. And again, this has been used for thousands of years and is still used today in massive places all over the world, in many places all over the world. when Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you," he's saying, he's saying, he's saying, "I'll be the lead. I'll be the old ox. You be the young ox." Come, it's not this. We think of it as submission. We think a lot about this. Take my yoke upon you, and basically as if Jesus and as if God is the master with kind of the whip and kind of like, you guys haul this stuff, go faster. You know, you're not doing it hard enough. You got to, and this is what links us to what we talked about yesterday, where we talked yesterday about striving, right? We talked about striving and the power of striving and some of the work of that. But this whole striving thing is also is linked to the fact that we don't strive alone. We're not striving by ourselves. It's not as if Christ the Master with the whip over our heads. No. It is Christ in the yoke with us. It is God in the yoke with us. It is God lashed to us and we lashed to God going forward and saying, "If you take my yoke and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and your soul will find rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You see, there's a real question about that our little Zen koan, I think, drives right at. Is what is it that God's calling you? You know, we talked about this a little yesterday about in terms of striving, that we strive for the kingdom of God. What are all these? But what are all these things that you're placing on top of yourself? What are all these yokes that you're putting on? What are all these buckets and heavy things that you're placing on your own sled, which aren't even yours to move anyway? And this is a hard balance because we're constantly, I think, having to look not just between all the things that we carry and all the things, and what we carry can look in all kinds of different ways. We can carry the pain of the past. We can carry the fear of the future. We can carry the idea that we have to be responsible for all the world or all the things. We can carry all number of expectations that others have placed upon us. But it's our job to either pick them up or set them down. It's our job to say, okay, I'm going to take that yoke upon me and I'm going to pull on it. I mean, it's at the heart of the serenity prayer, right? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This spot about what is it that is the kingdom of God, and that what is it that is mine and mine alone, to pull with Christ, to pull with God, to pull with the one who made me, and to kind of keep that out of the corner of my eye, that where is it that we're going from that, the senior bull in our life, and that where is it that we might learn how to step a little bit better, how to put our own backs into things a little bit better so that they aren't hard. But who is it that's really placing these burdens on us anyway? It's us, isn't it? It's us who are taking these things on, who think that God can't possibly handle that God can't possibly deal with this thing, that somebody has to take out the trash, somebody has to deal with the garbage, somebody has to wash the car, somebody has to do all the things and the stuff, and somebody has to. Do they? Do they? You could just not. You could just not. And you don't have to live this way. You don't have to live the way of picking up every burden that anybody ever handed you. Some of them were never meant for you to carry in the first place. You could just not. You could lay down the things that are not yours and never were. You can say to the world and to God himself in your prayers that where you're always praying because you get relief from these prayers, but you can look to the place that the burdens that you are praying about, where they came from. And you can set them down because very likely they were never yours to carry in the first place. When we ally ourselves with Christ, when we take up the yoke of the one who made us, when we take up this burden, it gives us a metric. It gives us a way. It gives us an understanding of what can I affect, and if I can't affect it, if I cannot do the thing that will change the world right now, I can look to the senior ox that is in my yoke with me. I can look to the one who knows how to do this, and I can give that. Or I cannot take it up anyway. And this is where the rest of it comes. This is where the rest in it comes. There's where the repast in it comes. It's just not that the world gets less complicated or less difficult. Maybe it will, because maybe we'll shed ourselves of a few of the things. But the true rest in it comes in the fact that that in your sphere of influence, in your circle of what you can touch, you have done the things, and that in all the rest is the King of Heavens, Christ our Lord, to contend and to deal with. You know, I know a lot of people these days that are dealing with kind of drama in their life. I think it comes with, I was talking about it just at the very beginning of this, where we were saying, I was saying we had a great gathering last night. We had the Deacons Dinner, so where we gather all of the deacons of the church that have been either currently serving or have ever served, and we have this kind of really wonderful gathering. Obviously, didn't have it last year, so it really was a twofold and. I just woke up weary this morning, kind of recognizing that, holy smokes, I think my socialization muscle is a little flabby. The ability to just be with groups of people and I think we're all getting a little bit of that, as we can, and that we're all kind of a little janky in terms of how our and reactive in some ways. And I've been talking to a few different people who've just kind of had, the drama llama has just been feasting, in their lives, where, things have been being blown up, and all of that comes with, the expression of anxiety and the expression of all these things. I mean, it's not a criticism, but it is to say that largely it's our job in this world to show up and to tell the truth as we can best know it, and it is then the world's job to contend with that truth. We can take on the world's reaction to that. We can take on everybody's reaction to that. But it is not the yoke of Jesus. It is not the yoke. It is the yoke of the world, when we're constantly contending with all the other, all of the dramas and all of everybody else's feelings. And I'm not saying be callous. I'm not saying be mean. But if you know what's true for you, and you know what's true, what is the pursuit of the kingdom of heaven, the striving of kingdom of heaven, what we talked about yesterday. If you know that, then the rest of it, let it fall away. Otherwise, you end up like that student in our little story where, the master asks, why are you always at your prayers? And he says, because it takes the great load off my mind. And he says, yeah, that's unfortunate, because that's what it is wont to do. And he says, why is it unfortunate again? Because it distracts you from seeing who put the load there in the first place. Friend, the yoke's on you. The yoke of Christ is upon you. Jesus is there to bring life, a life of ease. Now, that does not mean an easy life. That actually means a very hard life. It means hard choices. The great power lifter, Polish power lifter, Gragetsky, he says it this way. He says, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Taking up the yoke of Christ can sometimes be hard, only because it calls us to keep before us the kingdom of heaven and all the other stuff, all the drama lamas, all the other things that have been placed upon us, we are invited to let go of. And I don't know about you, but everything I've ever let go of has claw marks on it. I've wanted to hold on to those things all the way until they were taken from me and I could know relief from their removal. So, my friends, the yoke's on you. The yoke of Christ is upon you. No peace in it. No peace in the fact that the one who made you is not standing over you with a whip making you pull harder, but is in harness with you, inviting you to step forward, seeking to show you where the next good step, how to get the best purchase on the way ahead, so that this life flows with ease and with rest and with joy, and that all the things that were never ours to begin with can be set down and let go and given to those who tried to give it to us in the first place. All right, friends. I'm so glad that all of you are here. I want to just tell you a few things about what we have coming up this weekend. Tomorrow we have our a noontime concert here. We have a special guest organist. We have Steve Young, who is an organist at a large church in Providence and is also the professor of music up at Bridgewater State College. Amazing program he has on for us. If you're not into organ music, I don't care. It is good for you. If you want to know why it's good for you, maybe I'll do something on that sometime, because we need to understand this, I think, better. But it will soothe you, and it will minister to your maybe hyper excited, I don't know, maybe that's a little much to say, nervous system, but it will bring you relief, and it will bring you love, and you won't even know why, because that's kind of how beauty works. So anyway, that will be at noon tomorrow, and then Saturday night, I am super excited this. We have Andrew Brazie, who has spent about the past 10 years starting churches and doing ministry in communist China, and he has been out there doing amazing work. He's started hundreds of churches. He has been with people. He has started leper colonies and been with them. He's truly an amazing witness, and we're going to have a dinner and conversation with him on Saturday night, and then he's going to preach and worship with us on Sunday morning. So there is much to look forward to and to be super excited about. So if you're anywhere near us here, if you're a part of our Fall River family, please come and be a part of this. It's going to be a great weekend. To each of you, I am continue to be grateful for being on this journey with us. That it's just too good. It's just too good. So all right, my friends, we will be back at it on Tuesday with another 11:11, and I wish you peace and grace for your weekend. Bye now.